Hey everybody, I'm Sarah Estabrooks, and I wanted to talk to you today about redefining success. So in our ministries, we all have goals, whether you want to get a certain number of followers on social media, or you want to hit a certain dollar amount in sales, or maybe you want to get a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of visitors to your website or whatever it is. We all have these goals, and sometimes they're harder to attain than other times, and if we end up not hitting the goals that we really wanted to hit, we can feel like a failure in our ministry. So I want to talk about changing that mindset a little bit. Now, I'm not here to say that setting goals is a bad thing or that we shouldn't set goals. I definitely believe that we should do that, but I think that we need to change our definition of success. So whether we see ourselves as a success or as a failure is not tied up in our social media views or in the number crunching on our website. So I want to share a few things with you, a few ways that I define success, and challenge you to redefine success in your own way. That will help you feel more like a success and less like a failure in your business. So the first way that I define success is in relationship. And obviously as a Catholic, this stems from my faith because I don't consider myself a good Catholic because I get to Mass on Sunday, or because I say so many rosaries, or because I pray X amount of minutes a day or read the Bible X amount of minutes a day. I consider myself a good Catholic if I have a good and vibrant relationship with Jesus. It centers on relationship, not in checking off a list or in accomplishing certain things. So I would recommend that in our Catholic ministries, we also set the bar for success on building relationship. So I would recommend looking at your relationship with your reader or with your customer. Are you building a relationship, a meaningful relationship with them, and a relationship that helps them grow in their own relationship to Christ? If you're doing that, I would consider that a success, even if you're only doing that for 50 followers on Facebook. If you have a relationship with those 50 followers that leads them closer to Christ, that is a success. So relationship is the first way that I would define success. I would also define success not in what we do, but in how we do it. So for example, let's say that you sold a product and you sent it to your customer, and your customer got back to you with maybe a particular complaint or concern they had about the product, or it arrived to them broken or whatever it is. These moments can feel like a failure to us as ministers and as business owners, but I would recommend that instead of seeing, whether a product, does well or doesn't do well, is received well or isn't, I would recommend measuring our success in these cases in difficult moments in our ministry, whether it's a product that doesn't go over very well, or a negative comment or a troll on Facebook. I would recommend defining our success in how virtuously we handle the situation. And I actually like this advice not only for my business, but also in my family, which I'll talk about that in a minute. So how virtuously did we handle the situation? So did we respond to the person's concern, with love and understanding, valuing them as a person, or did we respond to it, with pride, and our pride is hurt, and complaining about them to our community maybe? So to me, a success would be handling a customer service situation with humility and with patience, rather than, with pride. And I apply the same standard of success in my family, because sometimes I get caught up on, did I get the dishes done, and did I get the laundry done, and there's a week's worth of food on my floor that I haven't swept up, and those moments can make me feel like a failure. So to turn that around and feel like a success, I stop looking at the to-do list and checking things off my to-do list. Instead, look at how virtuously and how lovingly did I interact with my family today. Maybe the floor is not swept, but maybe I spoke kindly and patiently to my kids. Or maybe the dinner was, peanut butter sandwiches instead of like a nice warm cooked meal. But maybe I did it with love and self-sacrificing love instead of, just kind of the frantic. I get frantic sometimes if I don't get things done. So instead of just being frantic and impatient about everything that was going on. So if we can measure our success in how virtuously we interact with a situation, I think that will go a long way to helping us be confident in our ministry or in our family, or, this applies to all areas of life. So the final thing that I would say to redefining our success is to allowing your failures to be a success. So yeah, I'm going to use the word failure here as well. So allowing your failures to be a success. And how do we do that? By seeing it as a success if we've learned something and if it's helping us to grow. So for example, and I do this a lot, I write a post that I really love and I think is great, and I hit publish and I share it, and nobody reads it. And I start to get like, well, how come nobody read that? What am I doing wrong? And I start to feel like a failure. Well, maybe my writing's not good enough for this and that. But instead of just looking at that failure, that one failure, and letting it reflect on my whole ministry, what I try to do is look at that one failure and say, what can I learn to turn this failure into a learning lesson, I guess, and into doing better next time. So maybe my paragraphs were too long and my readers weren't staying engaged, or maybe I was getting too technical in my writing and not enough conversational. So if I can learn from my failures and help that direct my ministry in the future, that's actually a success. So I hope that those things helped you today, and my challenge to you would be, how can you redefine success in your ministry or in your family life? What things can you do to tweak that definition of success so it's not caught up in checking off boxes and crunching numbers, but instead helps you be who God's calling you to be in your ministry and to work for His good and to serve the people that God's calling you to serve. So redefining success. Success is built into relationships, so allow your success to be defined by relationships, especially your relationship with Jesus. Number 2, I don't remember what number 2 was. I'm going to say them out of order anyways. Number 3, let your failure turn into a success by counting anything as success if you learn from it and if it helps your ministry grow. And back to number 2 was define your success based not on what you did or didn't do, but on how virtuously you navigate each situation in your life. I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm Sarah Esterbrook. If you would like some help redefining success in your ministry, I'm available for consultation. Just fill out the form below this video, and I'll get back to you with a time that we can talk about how to redefine success in your ministry so your ministry is more fulfilling and supporting you and supporting evangelization even better. All right, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.